What's going on, guys? So this episode is going to be the beginning of a series of it's a series on the Reconquistas. So today's going to be like an introductory episode. We're going to be talking about the French involvement in the Reconquista. Introduction. The Reconquista from 711 to 1492 was a centuries long process by which Christian kingdoms in the Iberian Peninsula gradually reconquered territories controlled by Muslim rulers. While the Reconquista is often associated with the kingdoms of Castile, Leon, Aragon, Navarre, and Portugal, French nobles, knights, crusaders, and religious institutions played an important role in supporting the struggle. French involvement increased, especially after the 11th century when the Reconquista became linked to the broader crusading movement as described by Pope Urban II in the Council of Clermont. So, let's begin. Early French participation. So, French participation began before the formal Crusades. During the 11th century, knights from regions such as Burgundy, Normandy, Aquitaine, and Gascony crossed the Pyrenees Mountains in order to fight alongside Spanish Christian rulers. One notable example was the campaign against the Muslim fortress of Barbastro in 1064, which attracted many French soldiers and is sometimes described as a precursor to the Crusades. French nobles were drawn by several motivations. Number one was the religious devotion and the desire to fight Islam. Number two is the opportunities for land, wealth, and prestige. Number three, family ties between French and Iberian noble houses. And number four, papal encouragement and promises of spiritual rewards in the afterlife if you were to fall in battle. Like what we saw in the Song of Roland. French nobility in Iberian service. So, many French nobles settled permanently in Spain and became influential figures in the Reconquista. One of the most important was Gaston IV of Béarn, a French noble from the Pyrenean region. He fought extensively in the Reconquista and later became famous as a participant in the First Crusade. French nobles like Gaston served Aragonese rulers and helped strengthen Christian military capabilities along the frontier with Muslim territories. French aristocrats frequently married into Iberian royal families. For example, the royal family of Spain today is actually French. Creating the House of Bourbon, creating political alliances that brought additional French military support to the peninsula. These connections helped spread French military practices, feudal institutions, and cultural influences throughout northern Spain. So next we're going to look at the Reconquista as a crusade. A major turning point came after, as I said earlier, Pope Urban II launched the First Crusade in 1095. The papacy increasingly viewed warfare in Spain as part of the same struggle occurring in the Holy Land. By the 12th century, campaigns in Iberia could receive crusading privileges similar to those granted to crusaders traveling to Jerusalem. So French participation increased because France was the heartland of the crusading movement. The Muslims actually referred to the crusaders as Franks. Many French knights saw Spain as an alternative battlefield for holy war, and the Pope granted indulgences for fighting Muslims in Iberia. In 1147, during the Second Crusade, Pope Eugenius III declared that fighting Muslims in Iberia was a meritorious act as fighting in the Levant. As a result, thousands of crusaders moving through Western Europe contributed to campaigns in Portugal and Spain. So next we're going to get into French crusaders and their major victories. French crusaders played a significant role in several important campaigns. So the siege of Lisbon in 1147, so crusaders from France, England, Flanders, and Germany helped Portuguese forces capture Lisbon from Muslim control. The victory became one of the most important successes in the Portuguese Reconquista. Next is the Aragonese campaigns. So French knights regularly fought alongside the Kingdom of Aragon, which is located in eastern Spain. Sources describe warriors from Burgundy, Normandy, and Aquitaine participating in campaigns against the Muslim strongholds in northeastern Spain. Next, we have frontier warfare. So, French nobles continued to appear in major battles throughout the 12th century. At the Battle of Fraga, 1134, several notable French nobles fighting with Aragonese forces were killed, illustrating how deeply involved French aristocrats had become in Iberian warfare. So now we're going to look at the military orders and French influence. French influence was also visible through military orders such as the Knights Templar and the Knights Hospitaller. Both organizations had strong French origins and established castles, fortifications, and military networks throughout Iberia. They provided trained soldiers, financial resources, and frontier defense for Christian kingdoms. These orders became crucial to later stages of the Reconquista. So now, impact of French involvement. So the French participation had several lasting consequences. Number one, military. French knights brought experience in heavy cavalry warfare, siege techniques, and crusading tactics that strengthened the Christian armies. Next, number two, political. Marriage alliance and noble migration tied Iberian kingdoms more closely to the rest of Western Europe. French feudal customs, such as the French duchy system, influenced Spanish political institutions. And finally, the French clergy and monastic movements helped integrate Spain into a broader Latin Christendom. The papacy's support transformed the Reconquista into the part of the wider crusading movement. Now, to conclude, although the Reconquista was primarily carried out by the Christian kingdoms of the Iberian Peninsula, French involvement was substantial and influential. French knights fought in major campaigns, French nobles entered Iberian service, and French military orders defended frontier territories, and French crusaders reinforced Christian armies. Most importantly, French participation helped connect the Reconquista to the wider crusading movement, turning what began as a regional conflict into one of medieval Europe's most significant religious wars. By the time Granada fell in 1492, French warriors and institutions had contributed for centuries to the Christian reconquest of Iberia.